The Chiefs converted a lot of high leverage third downs in their wins against the Chargers, but 3 clutch third down conversions stood out among the rest, and I'd like to break those down. The first of those is in the second quarter. There's 2:53 to go in the second quarter, and the Chiefs have a 3rd and 7 at their own 26-yard line. At this point, they're up 6-0 in a game that they've largely controlled. The defense has shut out the Chargers, and the Chiefs haven't even been able to build a 2-possession lead. This drive ultimately ended in a touchdown, giving them a 13-0 lead. So it was worth 7 points in a game they won by 2. So this third down conversion ended up being really crucial. And you could really feel it in the moment, too. It felt like a key time where the Chiefs could try to make their stamp on this game. So what they've done on this play on the third down, they come out in 11 personnel, meaning they have 1 running back and 1 tight end, which gets you the 11. The running back is Samaje Perine. The tight end is Travis Kelce. The wide receivers are DeAndre Hopkins, Justin Watson, and Xavier Worthy. The Chargers come out with a cover 1 man, but they don't have an underneath robber. So they're going to have a deep safety, but instead of having one player play underneath in a zone, they're going to blitz a linebacker. So they have 5 men rushing, 5 men covering man-to-man, and their 11th guy is a deep safety. We'll get into the Chargers rush plan in a minute because it was pretty cool, but let's look at the Chiefs man-beating pass concept first. They run a staple of Andy Reid's. I mean, it's not his concept, but he uses it all the time. It's called mesh. And so the basics of a mesh concept is you have 2 guys running crossers, and generally one guy sets a pick for the other to try to help him run free. And this is very useful against man because when you have guys running across, that means you have defenders running across, and it's easy for one of them to get picked off, leaving one of the people running across free. So the way that the Chiefs try to set this up, the guy they're trying to get open is Worthy. So they have Kelce come up on his route to try to get in the way, and then they have Justin Watson come and actually try to run the pick. And Justin Watson's very good at this. He is really good at getting in the way without actually running into people, and so he doesn't get called for offensive pass interference. On this side, DeAndre Hopkins just goes out, and Samaje Perine will leak out into the flat. So we can see this in action here. Here's Kelce coming up. Worthy's coming on his crosser, and Watson is the guy that's going to come and try to set the pick. Kelce's going to try to get in the way as well as much as he can. So there's Kelce getting in the way. And look at how Watson does this. He comes up and he just stutters and gets out of the way. And the idea is it's enough to try to create just the littlest bit of separation between Worthy and his defender and get Worthy free. And as you can see, he does get Worthy open. He's not wide open, but he's open enough on this mesh concept. So that's what the Chiefs are trying to do. Then let's get into what the Chargers are trying to do. The Chargers are playing man, but they're running an interesting rushing concept. So they've got their 4 down linemen, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they've got 1 linebacker that are all part of the pass rush. And what they do is they get Bosa and this D-tackle rushing toward the outside. This D-tackle crashes in. Khalil Mack also crashes in. So why are they doing this? They're basically getting everybody coming in this direction, and then they're going to take the linebacker and loop him around. So the hope is that with everyone crashing in, they might get Mahomes to bail or slide this way, and they've got the looper coming right there for him. So this is kind of set up to try to take advantage of Mahomes' tendencies and his escapability. And they actually used this kind of concept pretty well in the Chiefs' 17-10 win in Los Angeles earlier this year. So that's what the Chargers are trying to do. And they do it with some success. Initially, DJ Humphries, the left tackle, gets a little surprised by the inside move by Khalil Mack. As you can see, he's like slipping, not able to get a strong base. I think he was more ready for an outside rush. He's kind of setting deep, trying to protect the edge. But Mac ends up coming right through him, and he's not ready for it. P. Ryan is going to come out here to try to help with a chip, but you don't need a chip when you're getting bull rushed, so he's not able to be useful at all in this situation. And since Humphreys wasn't ready for it, he actually just gets bowled over entirely. The looper, the linebacker, also ends up coming around. Mahomes, to his credit, didn't get too jittery and actually bail. He hung in the pocket waiting for Worthy to come across, and he's able to get this throw off just before he gets hit by both Mac and the looping linebacker. We had another segment where we talked about pressures being allowed, and this is another one where it's on DJ Humphreys. And the hope is that, this is his first game back after a long absence, so Chiefs fans are hoping that he will improve as he settles in. Now, he hurt his hamstring in this game, so we're hoping that's not too serious and that he'll come back and then continue to progress. But Mahomes gets hit, so a lot, the route went well, but the protection has not gone well. Mahomes is forced to, if you look, he's like fading to his left and about to get hit, and look at this throw. He throws this sidearm in order to keep it away from the defender's hands. He throws this sidearm as he's falling to his left, getting hit, to a guy running over to the right, and he puts it right on the money. He hits Worthy in stride, and Worthy ends up getting a first down. Again, the Chiefs would have had to punt if they didn't convert this, and they ended up scoring a touchdown on this drive. This is a hugely impactful play in this game, and it's just a stupid throw. Like, this is crazy. He's falling to his left, and he hits him right in stride for an 11-yard gain on 3rd and 7. You can see the pass rush even better from the end zone view. So again, we're saying he's going toward the outside. He's going toward the outside. He's going to crash this way. He's going to crash this way. And this is your looper. He's going to loop all the way around. And they're hoping Mahomes is going to drift that way, which he does a little bit, but fortunately not enough to run him right into the looper. And you can see DJ Humphreys, look at his pass set here. He's readying himself for pressure on the edge. He's getting out wide, and he's not ready to anchor against a bull rush. And look, he just gets completely taken down. You can see Watson here getting in the way a little bit to allow a little more room for Worthy between him and his defender as he goes by. You can see the separation. Some of that was Worthy just separating. Some of that was added from Watson. And then look at this throw from Mahomes. He's falling to his left, getting hit. It's a perfect throw. As he's like fading. Oh, that's such a difficult throw. What a throw from Mahomes for the first down. And let's take a look at it from the broadcast view so you can get a little more zoomed in view of this throw. All right, here's the broadcast view of this throw. And just look at Mahomes and look at how the angle that he's at, the way he's falling to his left. Here he's fading to his left to try to avoid the pressure, and look at this arm angle. He's throwing it from this like 100-degree, it looks like, arm angle. As he's getting hit, he kind of flips it, and look at the trajectory of this ball right on the money. I mean, this is a ridiculous throw. Just on that line, perfect throw right on the money. And we can see it from the reverse cam too. Look at him fading left a little bit. Look at how he's falling backwards. Falling backwards, throws that right in stride. Perfect throw from Mahomes. As good of a throw as you'll see, and a huge conversion on a drive that ended in a touchdown. Now, this to me was the most important play of the game. I have two reasons for that. The first being that this was desperation time. Setting the scene, this is 3rd and 10 at the Chiefs' 40-yard line. There's 4:26 to go in the game, and the Chargers are up 17-16. The Chiefs are still reeling. They had been up 13-0 and are being outscored on a 17-3 run right now by the Chargers. They're looking for points. They're down in this game. They've got to score, and now they're at 3rd and 10 at their own 40-yard line. Reason 2 for why I think this is the most important play of the game, we'll talk about after we break down the play, because there's a lot to see here. Let's look at the Chiefs' personnel real quick. We've got 11 personnel. That's 1 running back and 1 tight end. Samaje Perine's the running back. The tight end's Travis Kelce. We've got 3 wide receivers, Justin Watson, Xavier Worthy, and DeAndre Hopkins. But I want to break down what the Chargers did on this play, because this was some really cool play design from the Chargers. Not only was it 3rd and 10, gotta have it, all the momentum's against you, down by 1, but the defense came out with a really interesting, intricate play call. So let's start by looking. The Chargers have 6 up at the line that have to be accounted for by the Chiefs' offensive line. So the way that the Chiefs account for them, they've got left tackle on you, left guard on you, center for you. This is Derwin James. They leave him for Samaje Perine to come and fill. Then right guard, right tackle. So that's how they account for the 6. The first part about this that is diabolical is that this is a zone blitz akin to the kinds of things that Spags does. And they actually drop these 2. So you have the center, Creed Humphrey, and the left guard, Joe Thuney, blocking air. The left tackle is accounting for him. Derwin James, as we said, is going through. Perine's going to be the one that blocks him. But that's even sadder with our left tackle, or our center and left guard doing nothing. Then these 2 are blocked up here. All right, so they drop 2. They're only sending 4, but Derwin James gets through to the back. And there's so many things to discuss. I'm trying to make sure I keep myself organized here. The other bit of this is they have a blitz from the slot, and it's necessarily a little bit of a delayed blitz, not in timing, but in when the blitz will arrive because of the positioning of the slot defender. He's not over the inside guy, he's over Kelce over here. And I think this is intentional. They want this blitz to come in late because what they're trying to do with their rush is get Mahomes to bail out to his right. They've got a blitzer right down the middle, and then again, look at these linemen moving more toward the inside. They're not rushing out toward the end. This is a power rush by Khalil Mack, by the tackle. They're both going inside. They've got a blitz up the middle, and then the outside defender is going around the arc. So what they seem to be doing is they're trying to show Mahomes bodies coming this way and get him to come out, and then that's when this blitzer arrives, and he's supposed to be fairly unencumbered to pressure Mahomes. So a very interesting design on the rush here by the Chargers. Well, that's just one level of it, though. Level 2 is in the secondary. So they've got an intricate design down here with the rush. The secondary, they're showing single high. So they've got this guy deep, and it looks like these guys could be manned up the way that it looks here, or this could be some zone situation with single high up top. But that's not what they end up running at all. They end up inverting it, so they actually run like a cover 3 with these 3, and the guy who looks like he's single high is actually playing an underneath zone with these 2 guys that drop. So it's 1, 2, 3 underneath, 1, 2, 3 deep. So pre-snap and post-snap completely different in the coverage. So they've got the line trying to sort out this exotic blitz. Mahomes with his eyes has to figure out the pressure situation and the fact that the guy who you think is single high is actually covering underneath. These 3 guys are the deep zone defenders. So a very exotic play call here. So as you remember, the initial goal, it looks like, is to get pressure toward the middle and get Mahomes to bail. a couple things about how the Chiefs handled this. First, Samaje Perine, Derwin James is as strong and momentum-laden, should I say, a player as you can find in the defensive backfield. He's like a freight train coming down through the A-gap to blitz here. Perine gets run over, but does a great job of neutralizing the threat. This was awesome blitz pickup from Samaje Perine, first of all. Second of all, Mahomes does start bailing right. You can see it. He's doing what they want him to do. But as he bails to the right, he sees the blitzer. And as he sees the blitzer, he stops. He stops and comes back to his left. And because this guy was looping around, Humphries was able to push him around the arc, so it gave Mahomes a little bit of room to step up. So the Chiefs actually ended up handling the blitz fairly well. Then let's get into their route combination. So what they ended up running, they had Hopkins running out and up. Worthy looks like he's supposed to run a post with Kelsey running an over underneath. And then Watson is running either an over or it could have been a whip route. It's kind of hard to tell based on how he runs it. But you can see Kelsey's coming over. Worthy is headed deep. Hopkins is headed deep. But the key to this play from the receiver standpoint is Xavier Worthy, as he's running his deep route, notices he's topped by this defender and there's space underneath as he's running, so he stops and just uncovers for Mahomes. He tries to find a void in the zone, which is extremely high level and extremely important as Mahomes is over here running for his life, trying to find some space to throw. As he's coming across his left, he sees Worthy stop, and he throws a ball up there to try to let him go get it. Worthy does a great job of coming back to the ball and gets a 14-yard reception for a huge first down. It's kind of hard to appreciate from this angle and this zoomed out this far, but the last part of this piece is just how crazy of a throw this is from Mahomes as he's jumping to his headed left, jumping and throws across his body over to the right. And he is jumping at around the 30, maybe 31 yard line. So let's say about 20 yards to here. Where does that ball go? Yeah, so 20 yards to here. So it's about a 24, 25 yard throw in the air as he's jumping to his left, throwing across his body back toward the right. Amazing play on so many levels, both by the Chargers and by the Chiefs. And the Chiefs just managed to do a little bit more here. So here's the blitz. Derwin James taking off like a sprinter through the A-gap. Look at Perine just do such a great job of doing enough to neutralize James. Look at the shoulder James throws into him. Oh my goodness. And then you can see Mahomes. First of all, you see the pressure starting to come this way. You can see Mahomes starting to drift to his right. He starts drifting. Then he sees the blitzer right there. He's like, oh, crap. And so he comes back toward his left, and he sees Worthy. And look at his body movement as he loses his feet because he's jumping, and he's going to his left, throws back over to the right. What a throw. And what an incredible job by Worthy uncovering. And that brings me to the second part of this, why I said this was the most important play of the game. Part one was the importance of the play. This was really desperation time. The Chiefs needed one here. Part two is this, to me, was a kind of coming of age play for Xavier Worthy. This was the last piece. He's a deep threat. He and Mahomes have to figure out how to connect on some of that. I'm not too worried about it. That'll come. He's shown the ability to do his underneath jet sweeps, screens and stuff. They've been building him in the intermediate area. If Mahomes can have this level of trust for him, if this is who Worthy is going to be on top of all the rest of it, this is where he can be like an elite receiver. I mean, he is so young. He's just new in this offense. If Mahomes can ad-lib like this, Worthy can break off his route, come uncovered on a hugely clutch play, and he can be reliable to this level, this is the day that, to me, if Xavier Worthy continues on a trajectory toward an elite receiver, which I now believe after seeing this that is very likely, this will be, to me, the day that Xavier Worthy grew up in our eyes. This will be the day that Mahomes kind of showed that this is a throw you make to like a Kelsey or maybe DeAndre Hopkins, and in the past, maybe a Tyreek Hill. There are very few guys that get this kind of throw. And Xavier Worthy made himself available, came off his route, got this throw, made the play, and we won the game. That's the other reason why I think this was the most important play from this game. And finally, we have the play that sealed the game. Now, I know some of you might argue, well, when you have a field goal doink off the upright and go in, isn't that the play that sealed the game? That's the play that won the game. My argument would be that I know it hit the upright, but the Chiefs missing a 31-yard field goal would have been incredibly unlikely. So essentially, this is the play that sealed the game. This is a 3rd and 7 at the 2-minute warning. So the Chiefs have the ball. The Chargers are out of timeouts. The Chiefs are still down 17-16. But a first down here would allow them to run out the clock and kick a game-winning field goal. Not converting would mean that they would be kicking a field goal. If they kept the clock running, they'd probably be kicking a field goal with 1:20 to go. If they stopped the clock, they might have been kicking a field goal with like 1:55 or 1:50 or something to go. And that would give the Chargers a chance to come down and win the game. So hugely impactful play. What the Chiefs end up doing, they come out here in 12 personnel. That's 1 running back, 2 tight ends. That gets you 12. The tight ends are Noah Gray and Travis Kelce. The running back is Samaje Perine. And the 2 wide receivers are Juju Smith-Schuster and DeAndre Hopkins. So what the Chiefs run is they decide to move the pocket again. They get Mahomes on a rollout. Perine comes underneath. Kelce is supposed to, according to Mahomes, run a corner pattern. And Hopkins comes across. The line blocks left. Gray stays in the block. And Juju comes across and helps seal off the end here to make sure that Mahomes has an easier time on his rollout. So let's watch how this unfolds. Here Mahomes comes out and you can see the Chargers drop back in essentially a cover 3 zone. They've got 3 deep. And then they've got a bunch of guys just sitting underneath. And Mahomes rolls out. It looks like the Chargers really end up only rushing 3. You can see 1, 2, 3. So in addition to their 3 deep, then they can have 5 guys on the underneath area on a 3rd and 7. Mahomes rolls out here, and you can see that here's Hopkins on that over route. Perine coming out to the flat. Kelce supposedly is supposed to run a corner here. But as he feels the defender on top of him here, he settles in and decides to sit as he's past the first down marker. Mahomes rolling to his right gets pressure as one of the underneath defenders decides to come after him, and he makes the man miss and then sees Kelce just sitting there outside the first down, beyond the first down marker, gets it over to him, and that ends the game. It's another ad lib. Mahomes basically said, I was expecting Kelce to be at the corner. That's where he was supposed to go. I think his initial thought when he rolled out was to see if he had any opportunity to run here. Then as he threatened to run initially and then had to dodge a defender, he said he saw Kelce and got it to him, got the first down, and ended the game. You can see this from the end zone cam. Here's the rollout. It looks like Mahomes first is looking for Hopkins. So he's initially looking over at Hopkins across his body. Then he doesn't really look back toward Kelsey until now. So he's looking, then he's thinking about running, dodges the defender, he sees Kelsey right there, ends the game right there. Hugely impactful, hugely clutch on third downs, and that ultimately was what won the Chiefs the game this time. Have a lot to sort out offensively, but the pieces are there. I think it's really going to come down to whether they can get protection sorted out. The last couple times we've had this worry about the Chiefs, they've figured it out. It's been a long time. You go back to the 2020 Super Bowl when the protection really fell apart. But the last two playoff runs, they've gotten it sorted out. So if they do so again, there's no reason to think the Chiefs can't continue what they've been doing the last couple years.